Did you know that many rich and popular old Hollywood actresses have been caught more times than once trying to sneak away with expensive items from stores, to the point that even some of them killed themselves even because of it? And in this video, we are going to go through the list of old Hollywood actresses who were caught red-handed stealing. Number 10. Farah Fawcett. Maybe the first time was a mistake, but a second occurrence was strong enough to convince everyone that the million-dollar actress Farah Fawcett had serious, sticky hands. On May 7, 1997, business owner Kristen Amber filed a report against Hollywood bombshell Farah Fawcett, accusing her of theft of nearly $73,000 worth of clothes. Of course, the actress was quick to deny this one, claiming she had never seen Kristen before, but it was not going to be as easy as she thought. These allegations also brought light to Fawcett's secret past life, and while she pleaded that it was all a misunderstanding, the media was still going to drag her. Before Charlie's Angels, Farah was arrested twice for shoplifting in boutiques in Los Angeles. She was only 23 years old at the time, and she claimed that she was simply trying to exchange defective clothes. Still, the actress was arrested and detained, but after proper investigations, she was ultimately convicted on a lesser charge of trespassing. This was why Kristen Amber wouldn't let her go that easily this time, but Fawcett's influence protected her, and the police wouldn't even investigate the allegations. It was written off on the grounds of insubstantial evidence. Farah has always had trouble with money and not wanting enough, even after her rise to fame. Among many other speculations, it's argued that the chief reason she left Charlie's Angels after the first season was because she believed that she should be paid more. Spelling reportedly paid her $5,000 after each episode, half of what co-star Kate Jackson went home with. Still, this wasn't enough. After the success of the show, he had plans to increase it to $10,000, but Farah refused to be reasoned with. She insisted on $75,000 and 10% of the merchandise sales, and that was ultimately why she left. Fawcett was replaced with Cheryl Ladd, who went on to star in the rest of the 5 seasons of the show. All 3 of Farah's shoplifting crime accusations were enough to persuade viewers that the actress might have had other sneaky plans if Hollywood failed to deliver. Next on our list is an actress who was caught on camera taking unpaid items out of a store, and her excuse was that she was trying to get in character for a new film. Number 9. Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder is most popularly known for her portrayal of Joyce Byers on the recent Netflix series Stranger Things. However, Ryder started her acting career way back in 1986, when she was only 15. She gained recognition with features in successful films like Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Mermaids, Black Swan, and The Crucible, among many others. Ryder might have been earning millions and bagging top roles in the industry, but she had a severe sticky finger problem. And in December 2021, the actress was caught shoplifting on camera at Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. She was arrested and charged with grand theft and possession of pharmaceutical drugs without a prescription, but Winona knew precisely what to do to wiggle her way out of this one. Her lawyers swung into action with claims that it was all a big misunderstanding. According to their reports, the actress was only trying to carry items in between department stores and had no intention of depriving anyone of their property. This excuse did not hold water in court, as Winona was clearly seen leaving the stores with a bunch of unpaid items that were valued around $7,200. After a series of back and forths in the court, Ryder was convicted of vandalism and grand theft. She was sentenced to 3 years of probation and community service in December 2002. Well, she has refused many times to comment on the incident. After 15 years of silence, the actress finally revealed why she tried to escape with unpaid clothes. She said, "Psychologically, I've been at a place where I just wanted to stop. I won't get into what happened, but it wasn't what people think. And it wasn't like the crime of the century." After paying for her crimes, Ryder struggled with reviving her name on Hollywood's A-list, but it took a very long time, and the public almost forgot her until Stranger Things. The actress continues to try to bury her past while focusing on staying sober and relevant in today's industry. Number 8. Dana Plato. It's always a struggle to live with a used-to-be image, and this was precisely Dana Plato's curse after she found early fame as a child star. Not many people would remember, but Plato used to be a wonder in the industry, but her end leaves everyone in shock about how things could go so wrong even after a promising start. The actress was introduced to the limelight with her feature as Kimberly Drummond on the sitcom Different Strokes, and this was how she became a shop robber. Dana and her co-stars enjoyed the public attention, but things went wrong after they got carried away. Coleman became broke, while Plato and Bridges were turned into helpless drug addicts. The show producers eventually wrote Dana off the show after she became pregnant at the age of 19. It became an endless downward spiral for the actress, and Dana kept trying to fight her way back into the screens, but nothing worked. So she became desperate. Her husband had divorced her, her accountant took off with almost everything she had, and her breast enlargement procedures were not attracting quality roles. To get back into the headlines, Dana Plato stormed a video store near her apartment with a handgun and forced the cashier to empty the register into her pockets. Unfortunately for Plato, the cashier recognized her as the girl on Different Strokes, and the police immediately arrested her at a location near the store. The actress was placed on a $13,000 bail, but she was satisfied. She had gotten the attention she craved. People were talking about her now, but it was not exactly the way she wanted. Her story became a warning as people cited her example with pity and disgust. Dana Plato died of a drug overdose in 1999, and her death was later ruled as suicide. Number 7. Britney Spears. Britney Spears has a whopping net worth of $60 million, but the American singer, for some reason, has been caught more than once secretly taking what does not belong to her. Maybe 2009 was just a rough year for her, or maybe she was desperate to prove that she could cause trouble. Either way, the first thing Spears stole was from a gas station, and it was in broad daylight. Sometime in 2009, the pop star was seen walking out of a gas station shop with a cigarette lighter that she refused to pay for. On her way out, she smiled at the camera and said, "I stole something. Oh, I'm bad." The owner of the station, Mr. Jatinder Kaur, did not press charges, but he expressed his sadness over Britney's attitude. The lighter is $1.39. I'm hoping maybe the next time she comes back, she will pay for it. I know she can afford to pay for it, but I'm not planning to file a police report. It's still not right for her to steal the lighter, he said. A month before all of these, Spears grabbed a wig and stormed off from a Hollywood sex shop, and designer Katja Berglund also accused her of stealing 4 coats. Unfortunately, this was still not the last time the actress was declared wanted for stealing. In July of the same year, the singer escaped from a photo shoot with a US magazine wearing $15,000 of designer clothes and jewelry. Britney has continued to avoid questions relating to these incidents in interviews, and nobody can say for sure why she did them. Britney Spears holds film credits in movies like Crossroads, Super Size Me, Game Change, and the most recent Britney vs. Spears. Number 6. Megan Fox. Megan Fox was once a rebel, and she still doesn't know if she's still banned from supermarkets because of the crimes of her past life. As a teenager, Fox was famous for her sticky fingers. From candies to expensive gums, the actress just didn't know when to stop until she was busted when she stole a lip gloss from Walmart. She was 15 at that time, and Megan would try to talk her way out of this one. She kept denying it even after she was shown surveillance video of herself stealing the item. In the end, she came face to face with a judge in court, and according to her, they gave her only 2 options. The first was to stand outside Walmart for 3 days wearing a t-shirt that said, "I stole from Walmart," and the second was to wrap countless presents for Christmas. Fox blames her parents for her rebellious years. She was only 3 when her family was torn apart. Her mother got remarried again, this time to a bully. He was extremely strict and mistreated Megan. "I was grounded for all my childhood. Not most, all." Fortunately, Megan found fame as Michaela in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. After this film, her net worth quickly reached millions of dollars, and she has, in many interviews, expressed deep regrets over everything she did as a teenager. The last time Megan was seen in court was to finalize her divorce from Brian Austin Green. Number 5. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is another child star who ended up on the wrong side of fame. Perhaps the only difference between her and Dana Plato would be the long hours of rehab and therapy that she was forced through to keep her from killing herself like Plato. Lohan found fame on the set of the 1998 Walt Disney film The Parent Trap, and she continued her success with features in films like Freaky Friday and Mean Girls. These movies cemented her status as a teen icon, and that was where her trouble started. Lindsay fell victim to alcohol and cocaine addiction. and she kept falling in the wrong places with cops until she was finally arrested in 2007 for drug possession and driving under the influence. For this crime, the authorities sent her to rehab, but 3 weeks after she got out, she was found in an even messier situation. Lohan visited a Los Angeles jewelry store, and after trying out a number of their best pieces, she secretly left with a $2,500 necklace. The store owner found out and sued her for grand theft, but the actress pleaded not guilty. However, after a much more thorough investigation, Lindsay had no choice but to accept her fate, and it was finally time for judgment. According to Popular Stories, the actress was sentenced to 480 hours of community service and 120 days in jail, and she was also required to undergo psychological counseling and a shoplifter's alternative course. Lohan was not happy with how the media projected her as a thief just for one mistake, and so she said, "I hope to be able to fulfill my obligation without any press attention. I think the media spotlight should be on issues such as homelessness and domestic violence instead of on me." 3 years later, Lohan was seen with Oprah Winfrey, and in the interview, she described herself as a drug addict, confessing that she used cocaine 10 to 15 times so that she could drink more. However, in recent years, the actress seems to be well on the way to recovery, and the best we can do is wish her well. She was last seen in the 2022 American romance film Falling for Christmas. Number 4. Kim Richards. Kim Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills filled 2 carts with shopping items and tried to sneak out without paying. When she was confronted, Richards lied to the store clerk that the merchandise had already been paid for as she repeatedly tried to maneuver her carts loaded with toys and beauty products. A security guard waited patiently until she was 3 feet out of the store before they led her to the booking room. Richards cried and begged, insisting that she was not able to recall if she had paid for the goods or not, but it was too late for regrets. The Bravo star spent her first night in jail after the cops arrived at the scene, and the following morning, she was posted on a $5,000 bail. At the time of her arrest, Kim was reportedly homeless and living in her car. Still, this was not her only confrontation with the law. Just a few months before all of these, Richards was arrested for getting into a drunken confrontation with the police at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Life has not been fair to Kim Richards. From a long history of alcoholism and substance abuse to disordered eating and personal trauma, the TV star has been hanging on a thread for most of her life. She has been forced to 2 heart-wrenching divorces, and the last time she found true love, she watched struggle for his life after unidentified gunmen shot him. The actress is familiar with many rehabilitation centers and therapy stations, and in 2013, one of her children was placed in an involuntary psychiatric hold after a public breakdown. In recent years, Kim has been trying to convince her fans that she's a changed woman, but nobody is making it easy for her. The 59-year-old actress had to commit to staying sober, and from all we know, so far she has kept to her word. Richards continued to fight with hope that life has some compensation for her for these many tragedies. Number 3. Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer is one of the top talents in the industry, with many awards and accolades in her trophy cabinet. Still, it was not until recently that she started shedding light on a few dark habits that kept her busy whenever the cameras stopped rolling. In an interview, the actress admitted that she had stolen over $100,000 worth of merchandise from department stores and supermarkets across New York City. According to the actress, she started stealing when she was 14 and didn't stop until she was arrested when she was 21. Is it unusual? Actually, I think it's pretty typical of white girls, Schumer commented on her shoplifting days. It became grand larceny when I was in college. I just discovered this department store where you could take whatever and then return it for cash. No tags, no receipt, nothing. You know, thousands of dollars. Amy was finally caught when she tried to rob a really tight store, and she was punished with long hours of community service. Interestingly, the actress also revealed that she missed her days as a shoplifter. According to her, she did it not just for the money, but also for the adrenaline rush, which is why it was really difficult to stop. Schumer concluded her interview by confessing that in all of her exploits, she never robbed poor people or little stores. You might remember Amy Schumer for notable performances in films like I Feel Pretty, Trainwreck, Snatched, Unfrosted, and Kinda Pregnant. With a net worth of $45 million, it's safe to assume that the actress's shoplifting days are over. She now has more than enough to indulge in safer habits. Number 2. Kristen Cavallari. Before Laguna Beach, Kristen Cavallari was already hitting the headlines as a defiant kid. Together with a few of her girlfriends, Cavallari robbed a store, but unfortunately it was not her lucky day. She was caught and they were taken to jail. However, the store owner, Tawny Katane, decided not to press charges because of how young they were, but the weeks that followed threw her into a shock. After Kristen was released, she was cast in the popular MTV reality television series Laguna Beach, and the store owner couldn't believe that this was the same girl who stole underwear from her store. Years after this incident, Cavallari opened her own clothing and beauty line, which was almost like a perfect script. However, the actress's life is not without its flaws. She has been through a nasty divorce, and people argue if she has truly made her mark in the industry. The last time Kristen Cavallari made headlines was when she started a romance with TikTok content creator Mark Estes, who is 13 years her junior. Last we checked, Kristen Cavallari had amassed an impressive net worth of over $30 million. A huge part of this came from selling cookbooks and her fashion design experiments. Number 1. Amanda Bynes. Security knew that something was particularly off with Amanda Bynes when she continued to flash her bra at the camera, but they only stepped in when she tried to leave the store with an unpaid item. On October 8, 2014, at Barney's in New York City, popular American actress Amanda Bynes was detained by the police as she attempted to make away with a $200 hat that she had not paid for. The actress argued that she had no intention of stealing the hat. She was only trying to get her wallet and her car before she was distracted by a fan, and that was when security led her to the booking room. After long hours of interrogation, Bynes swore to never return to the store again, and the police allowed her to go. Bystanders also accused the star of acting crazy just before the officers arrived to question her. Bynes was only in New York for 1 week, and she was accused of talking to herself in public, scratching a woman in a nightclub, and wearing one shoe well inside Bloomingdale's. For some reason, Amanda has always been a victim for almost half of her life. From accusing her father of sexual and emotional abuse, to her deep struggles with drugs and alcoholism, the Easy A actress has not yet figured out why life has to be so unfair to her. Recently, Amanda convinced her fans that she has been able to stay sober with the help of her parents, and we almost believed her until June 17, 2023. Bynes called the cops indicating that she had some thoughts of harming herself, and they immediately had her locked up in a mental institution for intensive inpatient care. She was discharged weeks later with plans for follow-up outpatient care. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos of beautiful actresses from the yesteryears on the end screen below. As always, thanks for watching.